Hey guys, the Chickens here, back today with another home gym video. In today's video, guys, we're going to go over some of my worst home gym purchases, stuff that I ended up either never using or returning, to hopefully give you guys an idea of some stuff that you may think that you need or may seem like a good idea, but in my personal experience has not been well off. So I feel like number one, let's just start this right into the good stuff. First off, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you want to see more home gym content. Leave a like down below if you enjoy the video. Leave a dislike if you dislike the video. It's up to you. So number one, I find the hardest thing to do in a home gym is you're sacrificing time, or you're benefiting from time, efficiency, and ease of getting to your gym for a little bit of that motivation. A little bit of that motivation is going to suffer when you're in a home gym. So you don't have, all the people you went to high school with around you watching, how much you can deadlift. So are you going to be as amped up to lift? Maybe not. And I feel like with powerlifting style training, or weightlifting or strength training in general, unless you're really dialed in, and shout out to those of you that are, the cardio kind of comes and goes, right? You get a wave of it. It's like, oh, I'm going to start doing 30 minutes on the bike, or I'm going to start, doing an incline walk every morning, or I'm going to start doing, interval sprints on the treadmill after my squat workouts kind of thing. I feel like we kind of all go through those phases where it's like the cardio is super fun and you're motivated to do it, and then you're not really. So probably the most sought after home gym equipment in terms of cardio specifically is the Rogue Echo bike. And I got sucked into it too. I bought the Rogue Echo bike when it was $1,100 Canadian. They had a sale on, I don't know if it was Black Friday or something. It was free shipping, which was really hard to pass up too, because that was a beast of a machine. And to get it down the stairs over here, if you guys can see that, was not fun. So to get it in here and to get it set up was a pain in the ass. And it was nice to use, I'm not gonna lie. It worked great. There's nothing actually wrong with the Rogue Echo bike. But I found this specifically for a basement, it just kicked up so much dust constantly. It was like every time I went to ride it, especially if I was doing interval stuff and I didn't like slowly go into it, it was just like all the dust went right up in the air and just right down my throat. Instantly, it was like, it was not fun. It was not fun. So it also, the Rogue Echo bike, if you're going from zero cardio to trying to do like interval sprints on that, it's a jump. It's a jump. That takes some work. I think you should work up to something. So in terms of cardio, I think what makes sense is just get a cheap exercise bike. You're not really sitting on them for long times. And I think, honestly, if you're going to go premium with something that you're actually going to use, I think something like a Peloton maybe would make sense. You've got a class, you've got a specific... it kind of brings that, like for a home gym is what I'm talking about. It kind of brings in some of those factors that make cardio really boring to do. And yeah, you can look up a YouTube video and it's essentially the same thing. I'm sure you could Google or, figure out a way to do the actual like Peloton, whatever classes. But I feel like that would be, a good, if you want to go still something that's really nice and try to stay motivated with it. I don't know if it still has to come with a subscription or not, which is kind of, I don't like any subscription type of things for the home gym because we're investing all this money to get away from a monthly payment. So, unless you really want to do coaching, that's the one place where I'd probably sacrifice that. Especially if you look at some of the really cool AI stuff like Juggernaut AI or Evolve AI, which is basically the same thing. I don't know. Things like that, I think, kind of makes sense. But at the same time, this is kind of off note, but I've been having a lot of fun just doing my own program, and I've been making really good progress. So I'm going to keep going with that for right now. But anyways, so some of the worst home gym purchases I have made. Number one, got to be the Rogue Echo bike, because that thing was very expensive and I didn't really use it that much. The good thing was, and somebody mentioned this in my video the other day, was that it was a Rogue Echo bike. So it was very easy to sell it. People search for these things all the time. I actually sold it for more than what I bought it for, which was cool. because they were completely sold out at the time. So I just waited until they were sold out, put it at the list price, and I think I sold it for 1,400 Canadian. So, you know, $300 to bring it inside, set it up. Still a pain in the ass, but I walked away with, you know, it wasn't the end of the world. So, bonus about buying Rogue stuff is you can sell it fairly easily. So number 2 was my reverse hyper. So I got the reverse Scout hyper again from Rogue Fitness. This is when they originally came out, and it was that joint venture, I don't know how to say that, with Westside Barbell. And it was a cool machine. It was good, but I was expecting to get more out of it because I have a lot of tightness, I find, in my back, especially my lower back. So I was like, oh, this is gonna be perfect for me. Like, you know, it's like a good morning. You get all the benefits of it, but it's just your lower body, and it's supposedly really good for your back health and stretches out your spine. It's like, this is perfect for me because I do so much, you know, having a home gym, I do so much barbell squatting, barbell deadlifting, that something like this might really work well, you know, with that, with those type of workouts. But I just found it didn't feel very good. I didn't get that nice muscle stretch, and it just wasn't really worth it for me. It wasn't really worth it for me. I was, it got to the point where I was doing good mornings instead of the reverse hyper, and then I was like, okay, this doesn't really make sense because I'm not even using it for the sake that, you know, for a warm-up machine, it's too big, it takes up way too much space, and it was way too expensive to not be using it specifically for what it's intended to be used for. So that got the boot. That was number 2, only because in terms of money, it just simply was not worth it for me. So specific machines that can't do a lot of stuff aren't really worth it, in my opinion. So when we're talking about mistakes or things that I shouldn't have gotten, honestly, I would put the Rogue Deadlift Platform right up there. Right up there. Now, it's a beautiful platform, and it works very well, but I think it's totally unnecessary, really. I think you could just simply go to Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever the Americans use and just get a couple, you know, just get a few sheets of plywood, get some horse stall mats. You can even, if you want to add band pegs, you can do that with the Harbor Freight things. I think that's right where they come from. Like, this deadlift platform cost $800 before getting all the inserts and cutting up the horse stall mats and painting it and, you know, doing all the DIY stuff I ended up having to do anyways. So I would be hesitant to do anything other than make your own deadlift platform because it really doesn't make sense. That was one thing that really didn't make sense for my gym. Now, it's nice, it's secure, it's not going to go anywhere, but, you know, is the framing really that big of a deal? And I had a ton of issues when I put the inserts. So if you don't know, there's I forget exactly how they go, but I had there's two steel inserts that go into the platform across the bottom, which basically go, if I remember this correctly, this is a few years ago, but they basically go from this side to this side, and that's how you keep the frame together. So say if you're going to deadlift against bands, that's what prevents it from just lifting right up off the ground. It's got those inserts, so you're holding it in with the weight of you and the bar, whatever you're deadlifting, against the ground, because those inserts are in place. Now, those inserts gave me so many problems. I had to bang them and smash them in and beat the piss out of them. And I finally contacted Rogue and I said, you know, I was able to get these things in, but like I totally damaged my platform. Like, that's going to affect the resale value because it's got all these dents and chips in it and stuff. And shout out to Rogue, I think they gave me like $150 or something, which is pretty cool. Like, that's pretty unheard of for a company to just give you like, oh, you had a problem assembling it, here's $100, you know. I forget if it was a credit or a refund. I think it was a credit, so I went and bought something else from Rogue for for more money, and that was kind of cool. So yeah, those are my top 3 things that I made mistakes on in my home gym. You guys let me know what you made mistakes on, or what you wouldn't recommend for most people down below in the comments. If you want to subscribe to the channel, don't forget to do that. Catch you next one, guys. Chicken out.